Good day, everyone, and welcome to my vlog. Today we are going to visit the Keane Wonder Mine in Death Valley, California. Now, this mine was one of the larger operations back in the day. And the thing that the Keane Wonder Mine is most known for is this incredible tram system they built, because the mine was located high up on a very steep hill, so it was difficult to get the ore down to a place where they could process it. So they ended up building this massive tram system, which was quite an engineering feat in its time, especially when you consider the remote location. So we're just going to hike around, check it out. A lot of this stuff is pretty well preserved, as things often are in the desert. Today we have pretty dramatic weather conditions. As you can see, it's early January 2023, and there's huge storms up north, and so as a result we're getting some of that kicked down to Death Valley, and it has rained just a little bit. We've had a few sprinkles here, but you can see the cloud cover is absolutely beautiful. Okay, here's a plaque showing the mine in its heyday, and I'll scroll through this information. If you want to freeze frame it, you can go ahead and read it. Definitely interesting. Okay, right here we're looking at the bottom of the tram system. And if you look up the hill on the little saddle there, you can see one of the towers. We'll go ahead and look at those a bit closer in a minute. Okay, so the cool thing to do here at Keane Wonder Mine is to go ahead and hike up the hill along the trams. And I will note that it's not for the faint of heart. It's extremely steep. It's not terribly far, maybe a couple of miles to the mine at the top, but it's just pretty arduous because it's just steep. So keep that in mind. And if you attempt it on a hot day, be sure to bring a ton of water and whatnot. Otherwise, you're going to have a difficult time. So this mine was discovered in 1904 by Mr. Keane, and it operated fairly profitably until 1917, I believe, and then it was sold off, and some heavier processing equipment was built at that time. Now, as it turns out, so this is all the post-gold rush era. Once the mother lode in California was kind of in the Sierra, north of here, the Sierra, once that was kind of used up, a lot of prospectors came down to the Death Valley area. And as luck would have it, most of the mines were not profitable. Most of them were very short-lived and just didn't live up to expectations. But Keane Wonder Mine, as well as the mine in Rhyolite, were two that were profitable and did quite well. I think it was the newspaper in Rhyolite named this the king of the mines or something. And maybe that's where the Wonder Mine moniker came from. Beautiful day out here, unbelievable. All right, so now we're right among the towers here as we look down the hill, the tram towers. And I should note that the Keane Wonder Mine, you can see how crazy steep this hill is. As I was saying, the Keane Wonder Mine produced about $1 million worth of gold, and that's turn of the century or early 1900s dollars, and it's about, the value of money now is about 1/30 of what it was then. So that would mean that there's approximately $30 million in gold pulled out of these mines. And another interesting little factoid is that the miners were actually paid with gold that was processed from the mine. So the gold would come down, be processed, and I don't know how they if they actually just paid them with bullion or if they stamped out little coins or something, but that's how the miners were paid, which is really cool. Okay, so the actual mine is up just below that saddle, the low saddle you can see in the center of the image there. If you look down a little bit, you can see there's a couple of intermediate towers right in the middle of the frame. And then if you look down here, there's a huge void. It's a wash that's super deep. And then the cables will go across and then they connect to the tower with these double towers right here that I was just showing you. And so when you're in the middle, the cables are, I don't know, a couple 100 feet, 300 feet off the ground. So that's interesting. As we hike up the hill, we can see this pipe along the trail. And I have to assume that that's for piping water. Now the question is whether it was piped down to the mill at the bottom from a spring above, or whether they needed to pump water up the hill to be used at the mine. And I suspect it's the former, because I would think it would be really difficult to pump water up this super steep hill. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, we got a little respite here. The trail kind of levels out, but we climbed over 1,000 feet in less than a mile. Something like 1,023 feet in 0.9 miles, 0.9 something. So that's pretty incredible. Just talked to another gentleman on the trail who's up there, also traveling around in the van. So we got to go around this. This kind of just goes gradually up, like a sensible grade, like a 8% or 10% instead of 20%. And then we go over that shoulder, over that way, the shoulder, and then we continue on for a bit more and get up to the up to the mine where the top of the tram lies. And you can see right there is one of the tram thing, and then you can see right in the middle of the frame there's 3 towers, 2 easily visible and then a third one. And you can see how deep this canyon is, where the cables go across this to the next towers down the hill. So now you can see, looking down to Death Valley, it's actually sprinkling now, so it's just a dramatic, beautiful day. These are the kind of days I just love in Death Valley. All right, well, I'm getting near the top of the tram there. That structure there is the top, and it's unbelievably, it's raining pretty hard. I mean, not hard, but by Death Valley standards. So I think I might have to actually hunker down in the mine for a little bit if I get up there to keep dry. This rain is supposed to pass, but it looks like it could rain for a little while. As I look down the valley, it looks pretty socked in there. I'm sure I've got some droplets on the lens too, so sorry about that, but I'll see if I can get it dried off when I get up there. Well, kind of an epic day to be up here. It's pretty cool. I'll zoom in on that so you can see a little better. There it is. Well, as predicted, here I am hunkered down in the mine at the top of Keane Wonder Mine. The rain is coming down pretty good. It's windy, it's cold, and so I'm just going to hunker down here for a minute. Now, I looked at the weather, and it's supposed to get clear and partly cloudy with a little sun this afternoon, so probably just sit here. I got some snacks in my pack. Probably have a little snack, maybe talk to you guys a little bit more, and just wait this puppy out. Okay, so that's been my home for the past 20 minutes or so, and I wouldn't say the rain has stopped, but it's subsided slightly, and these are the ore cart tracks that come out of the mine, and then walk over and check out the top of the tram. Okay, we're looking at the tram house at the top here. This is where the ore carts went down and also came back up. Now, the larger wheel right there, that would be the one where the cable would go around and go back down. And then you can see just to the right, over here, there's what appears to be a little electric motor, and then a wide wheel there that is a belt drive. Now, my understanding is that they would load up the carts with ore, and then the weight of the carts would actually run the tram. It was not an electric tram, but they had enough power from the carts pulling the cable down the hill that they could run this generator, and they used that power to run the tools, some power tools up here at the mine to extract the ore and to dig in the mine. So that was a pretty clever operation. Here's the big wheel that the cable would run around at the top of the tram here, sort of inside the tram area. And then from this big wheel here, see that massive shaft goes up, and then from up above here you can see where the shaft comes down, goes over to this wheel over here, which runs this little gear here, which runs this larger belt wheel here, and that in turn runs the generator right over there. So that's pretty cool. Looks like maybe the ore was loaded from the top of the house and then came down these little slider things into the carts. Here's a little thing that would close it off. Can't lift it. And then the carts would be loaded right here, and then they would head down and out that way. There's some old gears just along the structure here that are kind of half buried, but pretty cool to look at. The heavy duty, big old gears. I'll put my hand in there so you get the idea of the size. All right, folks, it's been about 45 minutes since I was hunkered down in the mine and getting pelted by rain. And it started to clear up pretty nicely, and it's really gorgeous out. So I'm gonna just show you some footage of the mine and the stuff around the mine, and just play some music and let you enjoy that. And by the way, if you are enjoying this video and this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing. I've got a lot of great videos coming up in the future, and I'd love to have you come along. Oh dear, I've climbed up above the mine, and there's a whole lot going on up here. I did not come up here last time, but here's a big old pit. Goes straight down. And then right adjacent to it is this one here. And interestingly enough, this pipe goes into this mine. So I wonder if they're getting some water out of there. Oh dear. It's blocked off in there. Very cool. There's all kinds of additional stuff going on up here above the mine. If you look, you can see this, there's this trail right here that goes over, and right here it looks like there's another mine right over there. So there's, as I explore up here, I just see more and more separate mines. So I think there's just a whole bunch of them up here. This is an old structure here that's obviously collapsed. That looks like just a sort of makeshift stone shelter. Okay, so I think I got it sorted out how this operation worked. The mine is over there on the far left part of the screen. And the ore cart tracks would come out of the mine and onto this trestle here. And I'm guessing this wood box that we see came up a lot higher, and the trestle went out and met it. And then the ore carts, they would just dump them straight into this like big hopper here. And then those little slider things that I was showing you earlier, they would just open those up and let the ore fall into the carts, and then they would send the carts down the cables down to the processing plant down at the bottom. All right, it's time to head down the hill and call it a wrap. That was pretty amazing. That weather really created some really cool conditions. It was a little rough there, getting wet and cold, but it was totally worth it in the end as it kind of cleared out, and we just got some really beautiful footage of the mines up there. The other thing that struck me today was that there is so much more going on up. So you've got the main upper tram wheelhouse there, but up above there's just tons going on, and I think I'm going to come back a third time here and try to check out, maybe spend a whole day up here exploring those hills above the tram house there. I wanted to show you one more thing. I remember seeing this last time, and it's an ore cart or an ore hopper or basket, whatever. And it's, if you look at the tower and then you look just slightly left of the tower, you can see it. I'm zoomed in maximum on my camera, so it's a little hard to hold steady, but there it is. I couldn't see it when it was kind of rainy and foggy on the way up, and it's much more visible when it's sunny, but there it is. I think that's the only cart that I've seen that's still on the cable, so anyway, it's pretty cool. Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming along on this Keane Wonder Mine adventure. We took a chance on the weather, and it was a little rough there for a while, but man, it turned out to be amazing as the sky started to clear. We got some incredible views and just fabulous lighting on the mine and the equipment, so it made for just a wonderful, wonderful outing. So if you did like the video, please do like and subscribe, give it the old thumbs up. And there's many more adventures like this to come, so do subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Also, feel free to comment if you have anything to say about how it was presented or anything like that. Appreciate your feedback. And so, until next time, thanks for watching. Like it could be an old safe, possibly, probably.